What is going on, boys? It's Hunter with LS Lures, and today we're going to be talking about one of the weirdest jig trailers I've been seeing a ton lately. Shout out to Harold Klein, one of our awesome subs. Sent me a video, sent me over the edge. I've been seeing this a bunch for like the past year, and that is using a senko as a jig trailer. And not just rigging it vertically like a little tail on the back. We're talking wacky rigging this thing. We're talking rigging it vertically. We're going to take it out on the water today. We're going to break it down. We're going to see if this is worth the hype, if it gets as many bites as other trailers do. It's a cold morning, the fish should be biting, and today we're going to break down using one of your favorite soft baits as a jig trailer. It's no surprise, in today's video we're going to be running our Midwest Flippin jig. It's one of my favorites. It's our best seller. You know it, you love it, you use it. And we're going to be running our color Pimp Gill, all right? The lake we're going to is really clear. It's got a lot of bluegill, a lot of perch, and this jig does an awesome job of mimicking those. It's also got a really great stand-up head there, which I think will do a great job with that wacky rig senko on the back. If this bait can fall slow, it falls straight down and it lands and stands up on that head. I think I can just sit there and shake it. We're going to put that to the test, but this is what we're going to be using today. And I've got great news, because if you guys have watched our Tackle Talk Tuesday videos before, you know the drill. We've got a dang sale going on tomorrow, the 22nd, starting first thing in the morning. All the way through Friday, the 24th, we're running 15% off everything on the website, all right? I couldn't figure out something that I wanted to specifically hone in on this week, so we said, screw it, we're gonna put everything on sale. So 15% off everything on the website. If this is your first time watching the channel, guys, you can load up on these. We just put a bunch of this color Pimp Gill on the website, and you can get it for 15% off now. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead, jump out on the water, put this jig to the test, slackline some fish, and see just how good your guys' favorite stick bait works as a jig trailer. I about snuck off there without saying it. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all more than you know. And if you want to make sure you never miss out on a sale, because we run a sale every week, Wednesday through Friday, all right? If you want to make sure you never miss a single sale, we do limited drops of badass custom jigs every single Saturday morning too. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of those, if you're just now seeing all this, make sure you join our mailing list below. Send 2 emails a week, one Wednesday morning and one Saturday morning, letting you guys know what's new, what's going on, what's dropped, what's back in stock, all the good stuff and things. I'm gonna get on the water now and quit running my mouth. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is not how you want to start. It is too dang cold out to be doing this, but we are freaking stuck. Oh, I'm gonna freeze my freaking legs off. All right. Alrighty, first thing we were gonna do, guys, when we're getting this tied on, is I'm just gonna go ahead and make couple little modifications here. First, I'm going to trim this brush guard down just a little bit, make it a little bit more compact. Second, I am just going to chop on this skirt here a little bit. Let's take some of that off, make it a little bit more compact there. So that way, when I tie this sucker on and put that senko on the back, gives that bait plenty of room to move, gives it a bunch of action, and I don't have to worry about the skirt on that jig hindering it whatsoever there. So we're gonna run a 3/8, and since it's a little bit windier today, we're gonna take that 4-incher on there first. We're just gonna wacky rig it right like that. See how she does. Alrighty, boys, so we've got our Pimp Gill jig rigged up here. We've got our senko wacky rigged. It looks funky as hell, okay? But we're gonna go out, we're gonna target some offshore grass, target some brush piles, all the good stuff and things. I really think this is gonna be awesome, just for the sake that I think that wacky rig is gonna, A, it's gonna help it fall a lot slower. B, I think it's gonna sit on top of that grass a little bit better. I can just sit there and shake it. You know, one thing I have a really big problem with sometimes when I'm fishing that kind of grass is pitching it out there, getting my jig around fish, and it just sinks into that grass too dang fast. So it'll be really interesting to see today if this keeps on top of that grass, and if it makes a difference, in how many bites we get. Alrighty, there is a brush pile right here we're going to kick this off with and see if we can't get something to come out. We've got one following it down first cast, so let's see if we can't get him to chew it. First freaking cast. No way. Well, there you freaking have it. It's not a big one, but he followed it down. That jig falls super damn slow. He followed it down. That is on the wacky jig right there, guys. So little squeaker, but it worked. That was on that Pimp Gill Midwest Flippin jig. One of my absolute favorite colors for clean water, fishing lakes like this. You know, there's a lot of perch, there's a lot of bluegill. Oh gosh, I just got freaking smacked again. Another squeaker, but they are absolutely thumping the piss out of it, boys. Let's see if we can't go get us a bigger one. I just wanted to make sure this wasn't, we weren't going to be waiting absolutely forever. I don't think it's going to make a difference today. Oh my God. What in the f? I still got him. That's a clip. And it's a damn catfish. No! Oh, are you shitting me? Oh my gosh, of course it's a catfish. Well, I snagged him in the back. He's all wrapped up. It's all high hell. That rod is freaking toast. It just shattered, so that's good. You throw a senko on the back of a jig, you catch fish like this. He's got some cool white spots though. Well, piss. I pull my Mike Iaconelli right now and just freaking throw it. Oh, you ever seen that before? Well, we're gonna go ahead and retie, seeing as we just blew up our rod. Well, the good news is we caught the culprit. The bad news is we just blew up our freaking rod, so that is awesome. We love that. That's really what you want when you're a broke-ass lure craftsman. Honestly, the best thing that could have happened there. That's the second rod I've blown up in 2 weeks. That's awesome. I don't really know how he came off, but he got a buddy down there too, so. Golly, they smoked this thing. Oh, it's a dang biggin. Woo! All right, I might be chucking a senko more, boys. We're gonna swing him up in here. Yes! All right, I'm freaking sold. That is a dang stud for this state. Pimp Gill Midwest Flippin jig. pretty big one. He isn't coming off ever. With a 4-inch yum dinger on the back. I was just about to cut the camera. I'm really happy I didn't. That's a dang biggin. Man. I'll break a rod for that. Freaking crushed it. .3/8 ounce Pimp Gill Midwest Flippin jig. Chopped down a little bit. 4-inch yum dinger. Like a watermelon pepper. Getting chewed. All right, boys, so while I'm working this bait, I'm gonna break down really quick what I'm kind of doing in this video, what I'm looking for, what I'm targeting, how I'm fishing this bait, what I found to be effective there. In this lake, the visibility is crazy clear. It's 6, 7, 8+ feet in most places there. It is gin clear. So I'm targeting deeper structure. I'm fishing in 5 to 15 feet of water there, targeting wood, grass, individual fish, panning around with the live scope. Not saying that in order to use this technique, you're gonna need live scope at all. You don't. It's gonna work without it, but it makes my life a whole lot easier, and we're targeting, again, very specific targets, brush piles, all the good stuff and things. And all I'm gonna be doing is fishing this exactly like a normal jig, casting it out there, letting it fall to the bottom, working it through the brush piles, popping it on top of the grass. It seems like that senko does a really good job of staying up on top of that grass, hovering around cover, and it's got a lot of really good draw power, which I thought was really interesting. And then one thing that I really did notice that led to a lot of bites was when those fish would come down and look at it, either shaking it or giving it a couple hard pops to get that bait up and get that senko making the whole bait wobble again. I'm pretty sure that's a big part of why this is so good. Is that senko, you know, when you're fishing a wacky rig, it wobbles all the way down. It does the same thing with the jig. So I'm sure it gives it a whole different action, and I would give it a couple pops, let it hit the bottom. I was honestly very surprised today by how many fish I casted to that bit. Like, you know, live scope, and I've been here before, these fish are beat up. There's a lot of fish with a standard jig and a standard trailer that I cast at, they don't eat it, they come and look at it, it is what it is. But today, more fish bit than didn't, which was absolutely crazy to me. So popping that jig up off the bottom, letting it fall, letting it sit there for a little bit. Fishing around cover, fishing in cover. It didn't seem to matter. With the senko, this jig didn't get hung up hardly at all. So no issues there with that, but just your standard jig retrieve, cast it out, let it hit the bottom, pop it a couple times, do a quick couple snaps every now and then if you're using live scope, see what those fish want. But I caught a bunch of them today snapping it up off the bottom, and they'd fly over and grab it, which was really cool. And if you guys are just fishing around, work it like a normal jig. Hop it a couple times, let it sit down. This is not a swim jig trailer. This is not a flipping jig trailer up in shallow stuff or around matted vegetation or anything like that. But if you're around more isolated individual structure or individual fish, this is gonna be a really killer way to catch them. Well, boys, that is all I've got for you today. And honestly, I am super surprised at how well that went. We chucked our 3/8 ounce Midwest Flippin jig in that color Pimp Gill with a 4 or 5 inch yum dinger on the back for 2 hours and absolutely smashed on him. You know, we didn't cover half the lake. We didn't really fish most of the stuff that's in there. We hit a couple of my favorite spots and absolutely crushed them on this. A couple things that I noticed going over, thinking about it, driving on the way home and whatnot is that A, the hookup ratio on this is surprisingly really, really good, okay? I didn't have a ton of fish at all that would grab the sides of this. It seemed like if they were gonna eat it, they ate it like a wacky rig and just sucked it in. You know, I never had one of the trailers get ripped off. I never had any bites where they would just grab one of the sides. It seemed like if they got it, they got it. And I've been fishing a jig at this lake quite a bit lately, and it hasn't been that good. The bite has not been that good. And so I don't know if this was just the day. I don't know if it was the trailer. It could have been a bunch of different things. One thing that I will say is that with this being as wide as it is, that jig falls a lot slower, and I think it does a much better job staying up on top of that grass. I think it's really easy when you're fishing around grass on the bottom and different cover and stuff like that, to have that jig slide down in there to where they can't see it and they're not gonna go wiggling their way in there to get it, you know? So I think it does a better job of sitting on top of grass and cover like that. I also think it's got a ton of draw power to it. And I noticed that today, pitching out to some of those fish and whatnot there, seeing them notice it when it's up high in the water column and immediately go to sit right under it when it hits the bottom there. So some of the more aggressive bites I've had there, if every bite felt like a dang hammer was hitting the line there. Caught a catfish on it, blew up a rod, did all the cool stuff and things, but caught him really good on this. Caught a couple big ones. Probably could have had a really freaking good bag out of there today if we would have stayed a little bit longer than 2 hours or whatever we were there. But very impressed by this. Another thing is, every single fish was hooked really well. And I think part of that is, you know, most trailers, those fish, when you set the hook, that hook stops at the trailer. That trailer acts as kind of a buffer there. This senko can slide up and give the whole bend of that hook. So a lot of them were hooked where that hook would come through and go back in. So they weren't coming off. They were really locked into the bend of that hook, which was awesome. And I just can't say how surprised I am by how well this went. You know, I've seen this before. There's a couple guys on YouTube that have been talking about it. And I, just like most of you, I'm assuming, thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen, right? I was like, okay, they're just trying to get clicks. They're just trying to get views. Yeah, I'm sure you can wacky rig a senko on there. It's just like I could throw a senko on the back of a crankbait, you know, or whatever. It works, okay? And today I fished in brush, I fished in grass, I fished it in individual fish, and I caught fish on every single one of those targets. So whether you're using live scope, whether you're fishing from the bank, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're around cover in areas that have fish, I think this can be a real player for you, okay? I'm not saying it's gonna be the new fuzzy dice. I'm not saying it's the end all be all. I think it's weird, and I'm not saying it's gonna outcompete your normal trailers most of the time. But I will say that in clean water, around vertical structure like grass and laydowns and brush piles and stuff like that, I think it could be really good. Especially in that I was fishing in 6 to 15 feet of water all day, dropping it down on top of them there. So whether you're combing around, whether you're fishing a hard spot or rock pile, I really do think this could be a player when you're fishing target-oriented areas there. And those fish have seen a lot. I'll be curious to play around with it in dirtier water. I'm gonna play around with a black and blue jig and a black senko and see how that works. But for now, that Pimp Gill color and a green pumpkin or watermelon senko absolutely smashed them in clean water today. I'm very surprised, as I'm sure a lot of you are. And this is gonna be something that I keep in my back pocket when those fish get weird, when they get pressured, because they just don't see it. And I think most anglers, just like myself before this video, are gonna look at this and say, that is the dumbest shit I have ever heard. And I don't blame you for saying that whatsoever. But I was not on a private pond. I was on a public body of water that I hit pretty hard. A lot of guys in my area fish. It's got some good ones in it, and we tricked a couple of them today in eating this. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all more than you could ever understand. The channel's growing like a wildfire. Link to our website is down below. Like I said, we've got 15% off everything that we have on the website, except for Powerhouse batteries. The next couple of days, Wednesday through Friday there, it'll end Friday at midnight. Make sure you join our mailing list so you never miss out on another video, another sale, anything like that. We've got an awesome drop coming to you on Saturday. I'm beyond excited about it. It's gonna be great. They're gonna go freaking fast. But thank you guys all so much for watching. Let me know what the weirdest thing that you've ever put on the back of a jig and caught fish with is. Drop a comment. Let me know what you want to see next, but I appreciate you all watching. Can't thank you enough, and we'll see you on next Tackle Talk Tuesday.